Happy Red Kingdom Friday, as this morning we are talking Tyquan Thornton, Honey Badgers NFL departure, and training camp Travis Kelce. Stay tuned for Gridiron Gambit.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Let's work. Hey,
what is going on, everybody? It is Friday. It is another edition of Gridiron Gambit. At this point, we've got your recurring hosts, Clinton and Jordan, and we are here to talk about some of the latest out of training camp and also a bigger NFL topic that also has ties to Chiefs Kingdom as well. But before we officially get into that, I gotta, just shout out to my guy Jordan here and see how he's doing.
Hey, I'm doing great. Once again, here on this Red Friday, we are inching away from the season starting. I am so ready for it. Hopefully, y'all excited because I am. I've been ready for some Chiefs football for the longest. I'm still counting down the days.
Man, I don't know. I think I've told you this, and I may have said it on the episodes once or twice, but just I have not gotten fully into the season yet. Maybe it's like the hangover of losing the Super Bowl and never really feeling like last season ended. But now that training camp is starting to roll around, I've gotten several clips from different players, and a couple we're going to talk about here today. We're going to be at training camp here a little later, the end of this month and beginning of August. So, I'm not fully in the pool yet, but I've acknowledged that at least my calves are getting wet, and it's time to start acknowledging that the season is upon us. And Dre, I think it could be a good season. Depends on how some stuff lines up. The Rashee Rice thing might have, we were all kind of back and forth whether or not that would happen sooner rather than later. And the NFL loves to just delay things. But if it's as big of a suspension as some of y'all have said, that could damper a little bit. But if all the other offensive weapons, including the offensive line pieces they brought in, if they start playing the way that the reports are that they will, we may have the fireworks that we've been asking for ever since 2018 and 19 and so on. So I will stop belaboring the point. Let's get straight into the first topic. It is Tyquan the One. So I know he's kind of a late addition to our team last year, and he's been around a little bit, being a second-round pick, much like McCall Hardman was. But he is the new KC wide receiver that's turning heads at training camp. Seen tons of clips of him so far. But he's been a star in camp, making plays and showcasing why he thinks he can be a viable option in the wide receiver room. So how can Tyquan Thornton make the 53-man roster this season, in your mind?
I mean, I like what I see so far, definitely with the new up-and-coming chief. I just like the chemistry that he's already building with Patrick Mahomes and the whole offense. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I like it. I love the relationship that he's building with everybody, not even on just offense, defense as well, because he wants to get better day in and day out, which I like, even though he showed a little bit of his talent when he's with the Patriots, and he was pretty good. I didn't mind it at all. But I like how he's already building so much relationship with the offense that he knows in his mind this Rice situation. He knows once Rice is out of there, he got to show up and show out, basically, if he want to have another contract with the Kansas City Chiefs again, because he's young, he's fast, and he got some hands on him, definitely from the highlights that I've seen. But I'm ready to see what does that bring to the offense once we go full throttle.
Dre, Dre's confident that Tyquan Thornton's making the roster. And I mean, if you're going to get some playing time with the first string in training camp, if it's not a for sure sign that you're a starter or at least a for sure 53-man lock, it's certainly in your favor. Andy's has said he likes what he's seen, that he works hard and he's trying to make a comeback. And like I said, he's finishing up his official rookie contract, but the Patriots just let him go. So, second round wide receivers aren't always the best. Some of them can be, Super Bowl heroes, and others are, following down our depth chart. But, Mahomes, he seems to like him, and a lot of people are projecting Thornton to be kind of a deep threat, which I know that this offense has been needing. Not saying that they haven't had people to do deep options, because yes, Dre, we do have a lot of speed, Legion of Zoom 2.0, and just in different ways. And I think a second year of Xavier Worthy being unleashed will definitely help that. So if you have Tyquan Thornton on the roster also, you have kind of two of the same coin, and you can choose, do you want, Thornton to be the decoy to run deep to allow an underneath route for Xavier Worthy to come open? Or do you want to send Worthy on 9 routes, all game, and let other speedy receivers get open over the middle instead? So, this leaves the Chiefs a lot of options. It's amazing that a thing that they were kind of prided over, their kind of first half of their dynasty, seems to kind of disappear, and the only receiving threat prior to Xavier Worthy's ascension last year that was really, firmly planted in our minds is Rashee Rice, and Hollywood Brown got injured, so we didn't get to see his full effect. Rashee Rice gets hurt, and it's going to be partially suspended this year. So there's going to be wide receiver targets available this year. However, I don't necessarily see the Chiefs taking, 7 to 8, even upwards of 9 wide receivers into the season, just because they've done that too many times before and said, this player is too valuable. And then, Justin Ross gets, extended on the team a long time, doesn't really do much of what the team asks of. And then he's kind of asked for his release because he didn't think that he was going to contribute. So, and that's a receiver that's already been in the system, which we always say, if you're here for a while, that kind of gives you the advantage, at least on the Andy Reid offense, maybe not necessarily for a Spagnuolo defense, but if you're a veteran of some kind, Andy Reid will usually allow you to take the spot first. There's some rare exceptions, of course. We're seeing that with offensive linemen that we've extended here the last couple of years and our potential left tackle of the future. But especially with wide receivers, Andy Reid really wants some experience to that role. And, Tyquan, he wasn't in the best of offenses in the Patriots, but the Patriots have always had a balanced offense, always done basically a little bit of everything. So, I think they could see a role for Tyquan Thornton in kind of that Tyreek Hill 2021 season or 20, whichever the last one he was here, where he was the underneath king, got like the 3.5 yard out every single time, the guaranteed catch, the guaranteed yards, the guaranteed first downs. Like there's to say that aspect of our offense has been missing. I know we want to see like the deep bombs and the big fireworks and the 6 points every time, but for us to be like a both efficient and a dominant offense, I think time of possession doesn't necessarily have to be the main factor, but not turning the ball over, which Patrick Mahomes has gotten a lot better at over the years, but we've seen the detriment of not being able to take chances and not trusting his weapons. So, if the offense is going to fully lean on that kind of playmaking Tom Brady type of offense, then, you need as many speedy receivers as you can. And then when defenses are lacking, then you try to hit them over the top. But if the short game isn't there, Reid might not try to hit the well and go deep and say we have to still keep committing to getting the 5 yards each and every time that we need him.
Right.
So
it adds up. It adds up.
So I don't know if Tyquan's a lock. I think he definitely could find his spot on the 53. In like the next 3 or 4 weeks, we may find out some more official news about Rashee Rice, which I know you guys definitely don't want to see another segment about us talking about Rashee Rice's punishment. But we'll have to, because when it actually happens, we'll have to, figure out how that impacts certain games. And if this Rashee Rice suspension is definitely coming down this season, then the Chiefs, they need to have one extra receiver on their roster to start the season, or at least a practice squad one that they can bring up full time. So, needless to say, if Tyquan Thornton doesn't make the actual 53, he could definitely be, player 57 on the practice squad, and he's in the, starting line, or not starting in the, game roster for half the season. And that may be, just what we need. If you're equating second round picks to value, it's like, but when you're just saying, what can a player do for our team? And you go from that approach, then you could have some big things, or at least some moments locked up for Tyquan Thornton's sake. And you can make the same argument for Sky Moore also. Like, if the team finds value in that, they can find those specific moments, even though they won't necessarily be the focal point. But I know when we talk about a player, we want them to be a big star and to take all the spotlight and all the targets. But Andy Reid is a guy who really likes to spread targets around. So, when it's playoff time, Patrick and Travis may be hitting it for 20 different targets in a row. But when it comes to the regular season, Andy Reid is making sure that guy you had no idea was on the roster is getting a catch, an offensive lineman getting a big guy touchdown, random stuff like that sprinkled in just to make defenses start scratching their head. So, I think Tyquan Thornton can have value on this team. Whether or not he's a wide receiver that takes constant snaps, I think is irrelevant, but I think that his speed alone, and at least his reliability right now, and the trust that he's gaining with the two main contributors for the offense, I think it leads to his favor that he could do some, if not big things, at least some dependable things. And for a team trying to get back and win a Super Bowl, that's what you need. You need dependability. You need to be able to do what is asked of you. We just saw George Karlaftis get rewarded with his contract, and it wasn't necessarily for him playing well. It was because he just played the job that he was put in front of him. He played the role he was asked of. He didn't do too much or too little. He always tried his hardest. So, that type of effort gets rewarded on this team. So if Tyquan Thornton has that, which some evidence points to, he could do some big things and contribute to this offense in some way.
Oh, yeah. With no hesitation at all. With the wide receiver room, for sure, 6 wide receivers, no more than 7. Running backs 4, because we're gonna have a running back for sure for the as a retirement, and probably 1 wide receiver as well. But I with Thornton, I could definitely see him contributing a lot for sure. I say a solid 300-400 yards for the season. I'm just throw that out there. Probably 300-400 yards.
300 yards? You think it's going to come from just several targets with many yards sprinkled in, or you think he'll have a game or two that breaks out that pretty much gives
He'll have a game he'll break out. I'd say for like 60 yards. He'll have a good game. Like 60 yards for someone that's joining in, just hopping into the offense in this team. That's not bad at all. Definitely for a wide receiver 3, like, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, for sure. If Tyquan Thornton was to make this roster, where do you think he would slot on on the depth chart roster wise? Where do you think his spot is as wide receiver number or what?
Definitely with this, of course, Rashee Rice situation, for sure, wide receiver 4. Once Rice is out of the picture and had to do his legal issues and his time, wide receiver 3.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it really depends on how much of an impact you think Juju Smith-Schuster will have this season also.
Yes.
And I had said this the other day, like this is a full off season in training camp in the full swing with the Chiefs again. Because once Juju kind of left the Chiefs medical tent, so to speak, it's been hard for him to stay healthy outside of this organization. And even then, he had that one amazing game and then kind of sprinkled in with some dependability, but you never saw like the 10 catches, 100+ yard Juju performance again.
Right.
So some people are thinking that because he's back in the fold and had a full off season of training and rehabbing and, getting back in the medical, the medical staff kind of getting that information on him again. He could be in for some big things and kind of take up some of the slack that was missing last year. And I know we're all trying to push Xavier Worthy up and saying, look at the major performance he had basically during the postseason. There should be no reason that he can't start replicating that same performance, throughout all next season. And that will really depend on the role that Andy Reid has put Xavier Worthy into. And I think that role will change based on the availability of Rashee Rice. But in, a perfect situation, where is Xavier Worthy? And we have to point out, Jalen Royals, if Rashee Rice isn't on the field, more than likely we think that he's going to take that spot because of the similar play style and body type that Royals has compared to Rice. But I don't think that would necessarily negate the idea that Andy Reid would put both Rice and Royals on the field at the same time. So to me, that could shove Royals up the depth chart a little bit. And right. I think he's well above Sky Moore already. So, Tyquan could be all the way down to, like Dre here has Tyquan all the way down to 7. And it's like when you start listing them out, it's not a bad argument. I think Thornton is maybe 6. Like I would definitely put Sky Moore below Thornton. And depending on how valuable you think Royals is, determines if he's like, between 3 and 5. And depending on how healthy you think Juju will be, he could be all the way up to 3 or drop all the way down to, the worst wide receiver on the depth chart.
Right.
I don't think where anybody's putting there, but, if you just equate what the season added up to, and if Juju had more hype coming into this year, but didn't produce the same statistics you'd like, then that may be how the depth chart did shake out. But if I just said 7 wide receivers, that may be possible for this year, knowing that Rashee Rice will miss a while of it. So you'll have 7, but I think that allows Sky Moore and maybe Tyquan Thornton both to kind of jump to the practice squad and come up for game day elevations, which they'll get like snaps, whether or not they get, catches or receptions or punt return yards or something, that to be determined. But I think the Chiefs will need to take more wide receivers this year than they want to, which is still like at the same level of years that they've taken this many wide receivers. But they would much rather have a lower amount and have more trust and allow more targets to the ones they have versus still feeling the need to sprinkle. But I think Andy Reid still has that adage that we need to spread all the targets around, 10 different receivers getting a catch type offenses are the best. And, it's all about how fast they pick up playbook. Sky Moore has the advantage over Thornton and Royals. It's a tough playbook to pick up. I mean, I could see that, but picking up the playbook and contributing on the field are two different things. So, Sky Moore, he might be a great teammate, but for a second round pick, you really haven't seen that much offensively out of him. And that's why people give him the flack, not because they don't think that he's a good person or think he's a good teammate, but it's what can you do on the field and what have you done for me lately type thinking, which I'm not saying is the right or best approach. But, when money is involved and contracts and stuff like that goes into decision making, it's hard to ignore that concept also. So
it's just a huge toss up with the wide receiver room, because we might just tie with the most wide receivers from 2022, 2023 when we had 7. And ain't no telling how things go, how who's gonna come up, who's gonna go down. Hey, you need more time with the practice squad. Let's work on your craft a little bit. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen.
And if we're going to equate it to 23, it's important to note the names are different also, because in 2023, the highest rated players that we thought for this offense was Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore and Justin Watson, and neither 3 of those are on the team anymore. Now, the highest one we have is Rashee Rice, who we've already seen tons of production out of. Jalen Royals is a potential, but he had lots of contributions in college. Xavier Worthy has another year under his belt. Hollywood Brown is trying to come in with trying to overcome the injury he had. And then depending on how healthy Juju stays, he could come back and be that type of dependable receiver that Mahomes has been wanting as well. So, who's to say how it all ends up? Obviously, we're hoping for the best in terms of offensive productions and hopefully see those explosive touchdowns. And if clips out of training camp are any indication, we may be slowly approaching that. But any final thoughts you have about the wide receiver room in general?
The wide receiver room, ain't nothing wrong with the wide receiver group. I like what I see. I love the communication. I love the chemistry. I love the contact that they have together as a group. Like I said, we'll see how things go as training camp trickles down. We just started, so we got a lot of watching to do. And we'll see more highlights once they come up. But right now, I like what I see.
Me too. Like I said, at the beginning of the show, trying to get over the kind of stink of how last year ended. So I need a new taste, and hopefully the offense is that new flavor we've been asking for, and we can have that excitement back along to go with our number 1 scoring defense. So before we move on to our next topic, please
make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like or comment so we can reply and interact with you and make you a part of the show. If you listen to us on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars so we can increase our reach in the playlist. Follow us and all our contributors on all the social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. If you'd like to come on and talk Chiefs, message us so we can potentially set that up. Do you enjoy written content? Subscribe to our Substack. We have both a free and a $5 a month subscription and post on there frequently. And if you have any interest in being a contributor on the writing staff, feel free to reach out and we'll be in touch. It would help support the brand if you would purchase our merch, like the shirt that I'm wearing currently. Set up an order for one of these or 2 or 3, and this will allow us to expand our inventory options. Thanks for being a part of this channel, and if there's any partner that's listening to this interested in sponsoring the show or any other content that we produce, please reach out. Now, back to the show.
Shout out to the live people watching us now, waiting for some nice training camp news or some clips or some pressers or something while you're waiting for some news out of St. Joe. We appreciate you guys spending some time with us. If you're not listening to us on the Friday morning where we normally are doing this live. Make sure to go back and watch the YouTube video, leave a like and comment, and let us know your thoughts. And, we always kind of like and reply the comments in the chat. So if you want your voice heard, this is a good place to come. So let us officially move on to our second topic, which is the Badger blueprint.
Hey.
He really did. So former Kansas City Chiefs safety Tyrann Mathieu has officially retired from the NFL after 12 seasons. He was a part of the resurgence that came in 2019, where the Chiefs brought in guys like Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu to change the attitude of the team. In their first year, they brought home the Lombardi, and the Chiefs have never missed an AFC Championship game since. How impactful has Mathieu been to the Chiefs dynasty overall?
Oh, he's been a huge impact. Come on now. If you're talking bad about the Honey Badger, something's wrong with you. Really. He brought so much to the defense. That was the spark that we needed when bringing Honey Badger and also the Shark, Frank Clark. Just bringing him in just really boost up the defense energy and vibes, which I loved. Just having him as the ball hawk he is and low-key heavy hitter that he was, it really brought out a lot of people's talent. I could definitely say that. The first year to come to Kansas City and bring in Lombardi, come on now. Hey, that's a blessing right there. I'm glad he was part of the Chiefs Kingdom. And as y'all probably already seen already, he has signed a one-day contract to retire as a Chief.
Man, that feels good because as a Chiefs fan, not to say we were thrilled for him to get a contract for the Saints, but it was a coming home party for him, and full circle gets to go back to his home and where he played college and got the recognition that started there. I'm very happy to hear about that one-day contract. I'm glad out of all the places, Honey Badger felt like he made the biggest impact here, and arguably it was not his shortest stop, but not a long one to say the least either. But Honey Badger was that dude, man. He was a leader. He was a facilitator. He was a trash talker. And especially after a 2018 season for the Chiefs defense being as, bad as they were with the talent that they had on that team, they were in need of some juice, and not necessarily fresh new juice, but some seasoning, if you will. And Honey Badger was one of those reasons. And if I get to shout out Honey Badger for his accomplishments and impacting this Chiefs dynasty, I don't want to say almost all the flowers, but Steve Spagnuolo, where would this Chiefs dynasty be if Andy Reid did not decide to bring in his pal Steve Spagnuolo, who was not necessarily a top candidate, even a coordinator at that point? He had already been out of football for a little bit and was kind of doing some media stuff. But just the fact that Andy Reid saw something and knew that his defense needed a change and was willing to do it after an AFC Championship game loss, bring in some new guys, bring in a fresh approach to defense, and just the following year immediately make it and win it was just everything you would ask for. Just all of your prayers answered, all of the hard work paying off, all the superlatives I could say, all wrapped up into one. It happened. And, Steve Spagnuolo deserves a lot of that credit for shifting the culture of this defense. But I have to say that if that first year coming in, if you did not have Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu, how quickly and smoothly that transition of the defenses and the culture and the attitude and the play and all that stuff rolled into one, if you miss those two players and maybe Honey Badger in specifically, this defense might not be the powerhouse that it is now. I mean, Honey Badger did lay down the blueprint for this defense. Like, I have to think that Spagnuolo liked Honey Badger, like coming out that free agency. Honey Badger was the safety that Steve Spagnuolo wanted the whole time. So you got the guy that fit the defense, and the guy fit the defense, and the defense fit the guy, and it was a perfect match. And you saw the magic that happened. I mean, like anything, you hope that a player can last, an entire lifetime and never get injured or never play bad or ever lose their spot. But I mean, that's the thing about sports. It's always a new, fresh face to come in and kick a older guy out and, rethink the future a little bit. But I think it is a fair statement to say that Tyrann Mathieu has definitely impacted this Chiefs dynasty, and the work that he and Frank Clark did under Spagnuolo has just opened the floodgates for what this defense is capable of. And for the last couple years, in particular, it has been the argument that the defense is the better unit of the two teams. And statistically right now, it might not even be a question that the defense is the better unit of the two for the Chiefs. And the Honey Badger is definitely a huge reason why this defense has been as dominant as it have been afterwards, because he did lay down the blueprint. He did lay down the foundation. He did, lay down the certain how-tos and what nots to do when it comes to defensive backs. And the Chiefs have been kind of reaping those rewards ever since. So kudos to you, Tyrann, and happy to see you come back and, get to hold up your jersey in red one last time and then go off and do whatever else God has planned for you now that your football career is over.
I wish I had my jersey, because I do have a Tyrann Mathieu jersey. I wish I had it in my hands right now. Shout out to my guy. And just imagine. I love what we've seen from Tyrann Mathieu, and also shout out to Dirty Dan. They did their thing back there. Dirty Dan, I love you. We love you. But also just imagine if we had Justin Reid back there with Honey Badger. That would have been scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. But things happen, and I'm wrong with it. Honey Badger, hey, you did your thing while you was here, coming from Arizona. Shocking that we did get you, but it was a blessing to get you. And I'm glad you get to hang up them cleats with pride, got that Super Bowl on your finger, and get to do it one more time with us one last time.
That's an interesting thing to think about. Justin Reid and Honey Badger on the same team. I'll throw another what if scenario right back at you. If Juan Thornhill never goes through his debilitating injury where he loses lots of his speed and play, the pairing of Honey Badger and Juan Thornhill as your safety pairs.
Hey,
that would be
ball hawks right there. I could definitely say that.
But run that safety group back another 4 years. I mean, that'd be. It may be a no-fly zone, and then pair that with how the pass rush and the not even pass rush, just the dependability of the defensive line, and just they will do their job and allow havoc to be made somewhere else if they're not the ones to do it. We may have had the interception seasons that we've been asking for.
Because knowing that front line, they some run stoppers. Come on now. We are definitely some run stoppers. And having those two back there, to be honest, it would definitely be the no-fly zone 2.0. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's the fun and the not fun thing about sports is you have the memories and you can say, oh, but this happened, did this happen? If this didn't happen, then this definitely doesn't happen. But, Honey Badger, he was a dominant presence on this team. He lost a little of his shine towards the end of his tenure here, and the stuff that made him great, he starts to rub off, and then starts to be annoying or not as effective. And what I mean? The thing that gets you greatness is the thing that's going to tear you down also. Mm-hmm. So, Badger being, a hothead, so to say, worked well at times, and then it blew up in his face at other times and felt like he got exposed, but he never was a hang his head type of person. Mm-hmm. And that's a good attitude to have. And if you're going to be a defensive back in the NFL, you're going to lose on a lot of plays. And so you need to have the capacity mentally to get over that and to not stress about that and let that affect the next play and the next play. And I think Tyrann was, good at that to an extent. And also you rarely saw him really make bad plays or have plays go against him. So, he was a good cat, a dominant player at the height of his career. Mm-hmm. You almost wish you would see a little bit more of him. Almost like he was so good, but you never got to see him at his full potential, or it was never utilized at the peak time and the peak spot. So I think when we got him, he was more of a seasoned pro mentally than he was like the athletic, aggressive type player. But the dog never left the fight, so to say, and Honey Badger always had that even when he got older. But I just think at times that kind of blew up at him when he wasn't able to make the play, and then you saw those frustrations boil out. So the same reasons that got him to the dance, the same reasons that got him stuck there. But here in Chiefs Kingdom, we definitely hold him high up. I bet there's some people that are still upset that Nick Bolton took 32 away. So there's that. But will Honey Badger be a Ring of Honor candidate? I think we could definitely have that conversation here at the end of the decade, and Frank Clark probably that same way, because it goes without stating that they were important figures. Like anybody that was on the 2019 season, probably going up there. If something like Cam Irving can make himself a Ring of Honor candidate if he really was in good grace with the organization, just because you played left tackle in that year and we somehow won. So I'm saying, if you did your part, the organization will thank you. And
and
just flowers here, and he deserves them.
I'll say just in this decade alone, we got it's so many people that's gonna be up there for the Ring of Honor, and with no hesitation, Honey Badger deserves to be up there and what he has done for the Chiefs Kingdom. I'm just saying.
And maybe this is an off-topic thing for later, but just the way that sports have changed and kind of the maneuvering that players do. If you would say a Ring of Honor player, I mean, you have to think at least 3+ years, or maybe almost 5 to 10 for a player to be so valuable to a team. And I think Tyrann had exactly 3 years with us. So, in some ways you would say, oh, that's too short. But I mean, depending on the impact that they made, the time isn't the part that is valuable. It was the impact that was left. And, Tyrann Mathieu, his impact can still be felt. So,
it's massive.
3 years is still enough time for him to say he may be an all-time Chief. I mean, it could be skewed from just the Super Bowl win, but the NFL will also prop you up if you do have championships to your name. So that was Honey Badger's goal, is to get a championship, and the fact that it came in Kansas City with a team that hadn't won one in 50 years, that was definitely a sweet feeling, one that we will never forget, and then one the organization and Clark Hunt and the whole Hunt family will never forget as well.
Oh yeah.
So any final thoughts, parting words for Honey Badger?
Hey, Honey Badger, thank you for all you have done for the Chiefs Kingdom. So we are glad to see you retire as a Chief and be in that jersey, get that interception that one last time. We don't know what we're going to do, but we just glad that you are retiring as a Chief and just blessed for all you have done for us. Hey, don't hang. I wish you didn't hang him up because you still be balling out there. I still love what you do, love your craft. But hey, we're just blessed that you are doing your thing and retiring as a Chief.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you, Tyrann. And like I said in my speech, hope you have a good life outside of playing football, whatever that be. You definitely seem like a person that wants to be around athletics in some kind, and you're a very fashionable person. So I just look forward to whatever life you live past this NFL life that you have. And we just appreciate everything you did for us, dude. And with that, that takes us to our last topic of the day, Kelce's Fountain of Youth. So Travis Kelce has looked quicker and in better shape so far in this training camp. Andy Reid even joked and stated that Kelce was out there looking like he was 20 again. Do you feel the early praise in camp will translate to the season? And do you think Kelce will have better numbers than the previous season?
I could definitely see. I can see one more 1,000-yard season from Kelce. He was super close last year. I think he was only like 16 yards away. Even though all the situations that we went through last season and all the close games we went through, I could definitely see him having a better. I could see him having more touchdowns this year, and of course, I could see him hitting one more 1,000-yard season. Of course, he's still gonna be moving a little slow. He ain't gonna have the speed that he had the first 3 years as a Chief. He's still gonna have that little slow Euro step that still give him 10+ yards after the catch. But I feel like Kelce, he's been with us for so long. He's still gonna do his thing. He's always gonna find that open spot because, like everybody says from the analysts and the commentators, some way, somehow, he always find a way to be open, and he still go contribute to our Chiefs offense.
Man, ain't that the truth? I'm excited to see hopefully a new and improved version of Travis Kelce. Not to say last year was a dud in my mind, but I think we just seen him coming off a little bit of injury the year before that, not really experienced that before. And then the whole aura of will that be Travis Kelce's last year or the next, like the retirement conversation being up in the air and stuff, kind of tapered his performance and the expectations that he had for the season, and in turn kind of made us feel a little disappointed because Travis Kelce had kind of set the standard. So to slow down a little bit, the consensus must be he's done, he's over it, and he's retired, and he just can't hit those metrics anymore. But I am like you and saying he's just been waiting for a time like this where you needed Superman to pull his suit off and let him come out there and do what needs to be done. Because that's what Travis Kelce does best, is in moments of stress and high stakes and no time and all the pressure. That's when Travis Kelce shines the brightest. He gets 20+ targets, gets 5 touchdowns in a postseason game. All those things that Travis Kelce has done, he still has in him to do this season, regardless of how old some may think or whether this is his last year or not. Patrick is not going to let Travis Kelce go out without a bang. So if it was Travis Kelce's last season, then I would argue it's time for Travis's best season, where it feels like all of the offense is trying to get Travis Kelce those numbers. But if that's not how it works out, then if your seasoned veteran, the oldest elder statesman on your offense in the weapons room is getting all the attention, allowing Rashee Rice to get wide open, allowing Xavier Worthy to get wide open, allowing Rashard Smith to get wide open, allowing Jalen Royals to get wide open, allowing Noah Gray to get wide open. All these players could serve to grow exponentially better with just Travis Kelce being on the field.
Yep.
Either directly through his influence or from the defense queuing in on Travis Kelce. So whether or not we see the numbers translate for Travis Kelce, I have less concern with that as I do with his energy and the intensity. If Travis Kelce plays like he's younger, meaning he blocks his tail off, he runs those shimmy routes like you said, but he comes back the next play and does it again, doesn't need a break, wants to keep firing, and then comes back and delivers a run block right after that. Like, if he's got that mentality to him, that makes him seem like he's got the fountain of youth. We could be in for some stellar performances from this offense, and that's including a Rashee Rice suspension. That's including a left tackle and left guard conversation that's still up in the air to be determined 100% at this point. But there is definitely a new energy to this offense than there was last year. And that was an offense that was coming in with a Kingsley, who you thought was your left tackle, and an Xavier Worthy, who you knew was a very fast receiver, but we just didn't get to see and realize his full potential within that first full season. But now, reset that conversation with a left tackle that's either proven it in the NFL a little bit or arguably was a top 10 pick if he didn't have injuries of his own. Combine that with another year of Xavier Worthy and a wide receiver that has the same skill sets as Rashee Rice, and you bring back a healthy Hollywood Brown trying to get his redemption season. So he's coming back angrier with more revenge, trying to prove to the NFL that he is as good as he says he is, despite missing much of last season altogether. So this receiving core has a lot to prove this year. Very. Travis Kelce, if he's not at the very top of that list of things to prove, it sure feels like it, because it feels like media pundits are saying, if you don't contribute that high, why are the Chiefs giving you what they're doing and providing you that? But like I said with the George Karlaftis signing, the Chiefs don't ask you to do everything 100% perfect. They just want you to do your job and do it well every time. It doesn't mean that you'll be successful and win at every single time, but you give the same energy whether the player is amazing or terrible across from you. It doesn't matter. You still treat it the same importance. And Travis Kelce is the embodiment of a good teammate on this team. So
you got to bring that energy. Just give it off to everybody else like he's done in the past with Blake Bell, with Jordy Forson, with, excuse me, the name of it, O'Shaughnessy. I was playing O'Shaughnessy, just Noah Gray, and so many more. Kelce is that type of leader and that type of person. If he's having a good game and he knows he's about to have a good game, he's going to take that energy and give it to everybody else to make that offense even better.
Yes, for sure. And then, like I said, during the postseason, if he's got to get all the targets because he's still the most unstoppable and him and Mahomes still have the biggest connection, then so be it. But if you're saying a dominant regular season is the only way to determine if Travis Kelce is truly back, I think you're looking at it through the wrong lens. But if he still has energy and is giving and is pouring knowledge and good vibes into his teammates, into Patrick, into the offensive line in that type of way, then, that is the fountain of youth. That is what this team needed. Last year, the team at times felt inexperienced and older, or just trying to slug through the season. And when you're the Chiefs and you're trying to make it to Super Bowls and win them, your season's longer than everybody else's.
Right.
The team picking first in every year in the draft, they can kind of start slacking off by game 10 or 11. By game 10 or 11, the Chiefs have to be approaching their peak, their max capacity, and the best version of themselves, and then figure out how to maintain that throughout the end of and into the postseason and so on. So when you're the Chiefs, your seasons are longer. They drain you. You go through intense practice. Training camp right now is a tough thing, but it's going to prepare you for the grind that is an NFL season. And we heard Patrick, there's a quote, they lost the Super Bowl on a Sunday and he's back in the gym on a Tuesday. Back to the grind. So that's what it takes if you want to be successful in the NFL. The Chiefs are good at finding players that have that same mindset as well. And all this talk about Travis Kelce being distracted, his Taylor Swift, his podcast, this thing, these other
his
media
movie.
obligations. If you don't
make sure y'all go see Happy Gilmore too. Kelce's in there. No sponsor.
If you think that Travis Kelce does not want to win NFL games and do big dances in the end zone and celebrate with his teammates on the sideline, then we're not talking about the same person. Because that same person that has that same energy with Taylor Swift and in his podcast gives that same energy to everything he does. That's how you know it's authentic. That's how you know that Travis Kelce is not a fake doing something just for the money or just for whatever. Everything Travis Kelce does is because Travis Kelce chooses to and wants to do them. So Travis Kelce is at training camp right now. At this point, it's not, but all week it was, 105 degrees out there. So to say that Travis Kelce doesn't want to play football and win games with the Chiefs is just out of your mind blasphemy. So that's something that I can't accept. If you want to debate whether or not he gets 1,000 yards and 100 plus receptions and stuff like that, that we can have a civil conversation over. But I will not entertain the idea that just because Travis Kelce is not contributing that way statistically, that he does not contribute for the Chiefs organization as a whole. Because I've seen it. I've seen what he does. I've seen his work. I've seen what he does in the community. So that's just one thing that I won't stand for. You won't flame Travis Kelce and for his passion because it's there. It's there for everything he does, and that includes playing football for the Kansas City Chiefs. Plain and simple.
So right now, question for you, Glenn. Right now, would you rather see the fun Travis Kelce El Travador, or would you rather see the full bearded, focused, 100, ready to go Travis Kelce?
Man, that's a great question. I think prior to this year, I would have said you always want a serious Travis Kelce. But I do think that there is something to be said about like the energy that Travis has when he's in that type of playful mood. That come on, we got this like that, like positive, uplifting, joking energy. That is a good bond. That is a good way to bond each other. And so, like July, August, early September, October, that's what I still want out of Travis Kelce. If the season's going smooth, then he never needs to change that. But I think at some point, Travis is smart about that. He knows when it's got to be like a little more serious face, a little more serious voice. And the team comes up and learns that. So it's like, oh, if Travis is talking that way, then I better act that way. You know what I mean? But I think at this point in time right now, especially with Travis Kelce's personality type, when he's like jovial and laughing and joking around and, a happy presence, I think everyone benefits from that. So I don't want that to be taken away just because people think, oh, he's distracted, he's not dedicated to football, and they equate like a goofy attitude to goofing off. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody who is just goofy like myself, it doesn't mean that we're goofing off. It's just like, if people don't see us that way, they get concerned. They're like, hey, you're not being like happy-go-lucky. You're not joking around. It's like people get concerned, like something's up with you. So Travis has that personality, so it's important to showcase that and let people draw out their natural personalities, which I think Travis is good at. He's a good people person. He gets a lot out of people. I mean, no other I don't even know if Patrick Mahomes can approach Andy Reid on the sideline of a Super Bowl and like bump him and shake him and have like nothing come out afterward. But Travis Kelce is that type of guy that when he like overboils like that, Andy Reid's like, hey, well, I got you. Like, put your arm.
It's okay. Come here. Bring it in.
If you're this passionate with me, that's how I know we're going to win. All right. Because you and I are on the same page. We're just showcasing it in different ways. So, like I said, if Travis pulls that out of him at the right time and moments, all good. But Travis just needs to be himself, which is the like, all right now, get everybody happy, excited. All right now. And just draw people together, because, I mean, that's our mission of life, dude. Just get people together. So football is a good way to do that, and the NFL is a good way to do that. This Chiefs podcast is a good way to do that. And I have no other better way to transition out of this than what I just came up with for that segue. But thank you all for joining us for this edition of Gridiron Gambit. It has been a fun episode. We got tons more training camp stuff to talk about over the next couple weeks. The two of us in particular will be out at training camp at some point. We'll probably have an episode or two next week of podcasts that announce those more officially. So if you're going to one of the St. Joe days out there and are going to be there the same day as us, we'd love to be able to meet up with you, possibly interview you, and just kind of get a gauge of your fandom, and maybe have some content come out on your behalf through us, if that's possible. But you know, we would love to get in contact with you if you're a Chiefs fan, you want to talk Chiefs. If you're watching our videos, leave likes, comments, chat with us, because we definitely want to reply to you and interact with you and show you we're real people too. We're all over social media. If you're on our TikTok, you definitely see Jordan's face all over, and he's becoming the face of our brand almost. There's nothing wrong with that, because I love it. We got our Substack. We're definitely going to be bringing back our daily newsletter here pretty soon, so we'll have that free to your inbox. We also got some paid articles. That'll be picking back up here once the season rolls around, so you'll have plenty of good Chiefs news to read up on, Chiefs news to listen to, Chiefs stuff to watch. If you want Chiefs content, then Red Kingdom Media is the place to go, my friend, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you for watching this episode of Gridiron Gambit. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If it's listened to after the fact, enjoy your weekend. And as always, go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.